Hello, everyone. Welcome to our little stream with Xela and Flutes from Totem and Siku. We're going to have a little bit of fun today, talk about the upcoming Hologenetix mint that's going to be live in, what is it now? 1 hour? 2 hours?
Yeah, about like 2 hours or so.
Yeah.
Oh, no
So
UTC time.
I think it's about 2 hours. Yeah. So yeah, I think we can just get right into it. Zela, why don't you tell the stream a little bit about yourself?
My name is Xela Ray, founder here at Totem, along with Daniel Hanks and Xander. Been working in this realm for the past like 2 or 3 years, primarily more in like the art creation aspect, and then we're just like merging all of the stuff that we've done that into tech, but just been creating different types of businesses and different types of projects for the past probably like 7 to 8 years. So this is our newest project and kind of the culmination of everything that we've been working on.
Yeah. Flutes, do you want to tell the people a little bit about you?
Sure. I'm Fluence. I'm the co-creator of Siku. It's a project I'm working on with Karachi, and we are in the process of getting ready to do our launch in New York City at Super Chief Gallery on the summer solstice. So there are a lot of surprises in store and a bright future ahead.
And of course, I'm not doing this stream alone today, as some of you might see.
Hi.
But some of you might not know who OPAC is.
Hi, I'm OPAC. Well, a lot of you probably already know me from the Crypto Labs chat, but I'm OPAC in the Totem chat, and I'm also B, I guess. Yeah. Hi. So we forgot to address, but Ken Eric won't be in the stream today, which is why me and Thomas are here to present Totem, because he had other things to do today. So yeah, and I really wanted to talk to Xela and Scoot, so that was yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna let you handle most of the questions today.
Yeah.
So, but I want to start with the first one. Xela, can you tell us a little bit what is Totem?
Totem. So if you think of what a totem is like an altar in essence, or something that was like put together to hold a specific type of space or frequency or resonance. And so that's exactly what Totem is we're creating an ecosystem and a way for things to flow around. So Totem being the center of that ecosystem, and primarily focused in Web3 functionality and interoperability between digital assets, physical assets, and the ways that this type of tech will merge us into the future, and in the way that items and things will exchange and people will meet. So it's this SoFi Web3 ecosystem that we've been creating. And it has a bunch of different aspects of, marketplace. It's got, like it's gonna have like social aspects. You can buy tokens, you can stake tokens, you can, buy NFTs, you can access XR. So it's just kind of like, I would say if you put it into projects that are currently out, it would be like Instagram kind of maybe meets like Shopify meets Zora. So just everything in one hub that we can trust is there. So holding a space, a sacred totem within the craziness of the emerging Web3 ecosystem.
Yeah, awesome. And maybe you can tell us a little bit about what Siku is and how Siku is a part of the Totem ecosystem.
Of course. So Siku will be having its own axial counterpart nested in Totem. So we'll be their first project being launched on their new meta studio that's going to be announced very soon. And our intention with that is to be able to enhance consciousness and fuse technology with spirituality to create an immersive experience that activates the imagination and sort of catapults people further within. What Karachi and I have noticed is that a lot of the self-help circuits right now are very 2D, where you feel separated or disconnected, kind of like you're talking to a therapist, but there's still kind of a wall between you, and you leave feeling a little bit better, but you don't feel like, man, I'm rewired or reprogrammed, or like that was easy, you know. And we're really we want to strive to explore the possibilities of what we could do in a space with gaming and self-help and creativity. So in a nutshell, that's like our grander vision of Siku.
Awesome. Do you want to take some questions now?
Yeah,
follow up with chat.
So I think one of the most interesting questions here is like, what is the driving force between both projects? Like, what is the driving force behind Totem, and how? Yes.
I mean, you know, what birthed Totem was a bunch of very strange events which brought us to right here. You know, so I would say people are like, what is Totem and how did you create it? And it's like, well, Totem is the culmination of a life path between, you know, me, Xander, and Daniel, which happened to coincide along the life paths of all these different people. Like right now, you know, you guys and different people that we work with. And it's actually interesting. I'm at a coffee shop right now, and the name of the coffee shop is Totem.
Awesome.
Like, I'm like talking about Totem, and it's like painted Totem on the wall.
Oh,
but
couldn't be better.
So I had a very interesting journey. You know, I started it on the East Coast of the United States and made my way across the country, and I lived in my van for several years, and then came out to Hawaii to meet Ram Dass, who's he started like kind of the spiritual revolution in the 70s, and stayed with Ram Dass for a bit. Made my way to Kauai and just fell in love with the island there, and so that made that my home. And we have a superfood company. We have a deal in like high-end minerals and with like eco gold, and so a lot of the inspiration from my side was how can we use this form of tech to create more sustainability and to create really like verifiable trade routes. And NFTs right now are a very good use case for how something needs to have provenance to have value, right? So like anyone could take a copy of a Zoid and mint it, but it wouldn't sell for the same amount. Or, you know, a Bored Ape, it's like, well, they sell for 90 ETH because it was minted by the Bored Ape Yacht Club deployer, and that's part of a project. But you could take that same photo and mint it somewhere else, and someone wouldn't pay the same amount. So it's proving the use case of provenance, which with deep fakes and everything that's happening in the digital space right now, we're going to need in our physical world. So it's like honey right now. You can't tell honey if honey is actually real unless they do a DNA test, because they've gotten so good at making fake honey in China. So as this whole tech evolves and as humanity evolves, we're going to need ways to prove provenance. And on a grand vision, you know, of where this tech is headed, that's what we feel like it's going to move into, is being able to track resources to where they go, and then being able to move resources, be that energy, be that food, be that you know, assets, whatever, in a very clear, open ledger style system, where everyone knows where everything's at, and that's, you know, really what's going to bring more opulence and sovereignty to, you know, our planet.
Yeah, nice. And you, please.
I just got so swept up in that whole description. Like,
yeah, that was deep.
Every time I like talk, I'm like, yeah. Can we go back to the question?
No, the question was like, what's the driving force behind the project, and what
right.
I think you mentioned like the mental health stuff, and
right. Yeah. Well, I think that, as he said too, fate is a strong undercurrent to all of this. I truly believe that we are all put on this planet for a specific purpose, and we might get distracted from that or lose sight of it or get sucked into God knows how many different just downward spirals in the process. But I think we're all coming together because at our baseline, we're constantly trying to understand what we are here to do and combine our strengths to create a better future for everyone. Because the thing that I keep hearing, especially with like the people in our generation, is like shit sucks and like we don't want it to keep going the way it just goes or has always been, but how do we change it? And I think Web3 is like a very massive opportunity for us to get at the forefront of that and mold it in the way that we want and create a different paradigm that we can experience where we feel good.
Yeah, of course. Really nice to hear. I think one of the most inspiring things for me when I first met Totem, or when I first started reading about Totem, was the idea that we could like create something big, but social media wasn't something that was for us, but it was something that we're supposed to be sharing. And that's kind of what pushed me to actually look into Totem, because I didn't know what I was looking at when I first started. And meeting these people and being inspired by what the vision is and all that stuff, and what you're mentioning now is sort of my driving force, and what I experienced as the driving force for both projects. Like, you're building something that is supposed to be sustainable for everyone in the future, and also trying to figuring out how Web3 is going to benefit everyone as well, which is really nice.
How did you stumble upon? Sorry,
well, I was one of the really unlucky people, because I managed to come into the chat 4 days after Mint, and I actually came through ICO drops, because I saw that you were the Citizen token was coming out, and I was like, okay, this seems pretty cool. So I got into the website, and I don't know, it was just something about the pictures and how the way the website moved that I let's just say I fell in love with it, because it was something different. So I started reading up on Totem, and I bought in. I just bought some Citizen, or tried to buy in on the ICO, but I missed, and then I tried again, and then I tried again, and bought my first Zoid on New Year's Eve, I think, and I've been there ever since. So yeah, no, Totem has been my favorite project, and I'm so happy and lucky to be a part of the ecosystem and being able to like see the project from where it's been and where it's going, and the big plans and everything. And that's why I wanted to have you guys here today, to just show the world how projects out there are working, and how you can build something that is more sustainable than just NFTs, I guess. So yeah, that was my dialogue. So thank you. So question here is like, what inspired the Zoids? What was the story behind them? I mean, we recently saw that you had the backstory for the first Zoid, but what are the Zoids, and what's the inspiration behind them?
We were working with this artist called Mark Lee, who I met from a very serendipitous circumstance. And I had a friend, I made Daniel a golden talisman for his birthday, and it was in a collaboration with this other artist named Jameson. And I showed Jameson the piece that I made, and then a few days later he said he had this dream, and in this dream we were showing him around like all these like crazy cities, and it was like these like whole eco villages and everything, and he was like, you need to meet my friend Mark. I feel like you guys need to connect about like whatever it is you guys are building. And so he connected me with Mark, and Mark's first Instagram post was this capsule like isolation chamber, which I had been dreaming about, this bed that was like this like type of like isolation tank like bed like chamber that you would sleep in. And so we just like connected, started working together, and our first kind of designs and XR stuff was kind of beta tested with them, and then we started working on these characters. And actually one of the first ones that we drew was for Crotchy.
Yeah.
And it's like, if everyone's seen that first hi-fi
Yeah.
character,
Yeah.
that's the one. Yeah, and so we broke that down into pixels, just as a kind of like an ode to what that means, and why, you know, Nintendo's had pixel art, and how it's like interoperable across like any type of device can display that form of like resolution. But on a deeper meaning, you know, XOID, so X being you know, the masculine, O being the feminine, I like, you know, the identity, and then D being like the mix of all of them, like DNA. So it's just kind of like us being able to synthesize or create these avatars, like the beginning of this like new world with this system. And so me and Xander just went super deep in Daniel for a while, and just like you should, one day we'll share the first decks that we made for ourselves about Zoids, but they're so crazy, like they're very out there, like about like how the pixels line up and like what the numbers mean, and like how this happens and that happens. So it's just really the birth of this whole idea, and what we wanted to create. And it just so happened that Zoids launched right before Citizen, and it's also like a test beta of utility and use case for an ecosystem, and us learning how the tech works, you know, creating the generator, creating the minting contracts, like learning from what we did there so we can do better in the future on this like current, you know, consistent evolution.
Yeah.
And so that was, you know, our first little baby that we put out into the world. And now we've got a bunch of little babies.
So it's a kind of a weird question, but it's something that I've been wondering about for a really long time. Like, do you have any favorite Zoids, or like, what's your favorite character trait or anything like that?
So there's some Zoids that I actually like really hate.
Wow.
I just can't stand some of them, but like each their own, because like other people really like them. And you know, me and Nick were going through them, and he was just like, I was like, I actually like hate these Zoids. And he was like, bro, they're my favorite, like I love them, like we have to have them. And I'm like, okay, fair enough, you know. Like, but one of the ones that I actually didn't like in the beginning was the Zunos. And they're like these rock people. And so the Zuno, like RG18 with the avatar triangle on its forehead, one of those was a one of one that I had created actually the day before everything minted. We were finalizing everything, and it was like one of the last ones that I created, and that one just so happened to get minted into the vault. And so that one is actually my favorite, and I'm like so happy that we got that one, because that's my favorite Zoid. So it's the one that was like the profile picture, the main like mascot for a while, which Xander changed around, but it's the RG18 one is my favorite, and then of course the Scullies.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was surprised you didn't say a Scully, but yeah.
Yeah.
So let me just read the questions here. Sorry,
So while you read, I'm just gonna show you guys something, because our channel's name is Krypto Labs, and we're just playing around with some crazy laboratory deal, and we have a bunch of mascots, and one of them. Let's see, I'm sharing my screen right now. Can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
This guy right here, a little hamster. His name is Doix.
Doix?
Doix.
Doix.
And it's a play on Zoid. So we have our own little Zoid here.
Amazing. I like it.
So,
he looks stoked.
Yeah.
Thomas, can you tell us a little bit about how you got into Zoids? Because that's kind of funny.
Yeah. Well, OPEC started talking about Totem. early January, she really started talking about it because that's just after she bought her first toy. And then it took a little time. I started getting bored with just trading crypto, and I wanted to get into NFTs. So I asked her, "Can you try to convince me on why I should get into Totem? I have not read anything. I want you to convince me." And it took about 3 hours to talk in. And about a week later, she started asking me questions about what this and that is inside Totem because I had a lot of spare time and I read way too much.
I think he read through the entire lore in about 3 days or something, and I haven't even finished it. So it was like, okay, Thomas, calm down, calm down. And then it was like, okay, what about the spines? What about this? What about that? I was like, okay, Thomas, this is really cool, but you have to tell me what you're talking about. So, well, I forgot to read through the questions because I was. We already talked about like the people behind the concept and all that stuff, but so. Oh, I forgot what the questions I was going to say, but let's just say we know that Totem is supposed to be like the one project that's supposed to connect everything from, like you mentioned, like Instagram, Shopify, and all that stuff. And you know, we've already seen that there's going to be integration with other projects. Does that mean that we're planning on going multi-chain anytime soon or something like that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you know, right now we're working. The marketplace beta will go live, and I mean, we're already working on BNB, which we launched on, and ETH. We're integrating into Polygon as we speak, and then Solana integration is pretty easy for the marketplace goes. We're also talking with XRP for an upcoming project that we're working on, and how it looks like integrating their chain. But that's, you know, I'm not sure exactly where they're at with their dev. We've been talking with them. That's going to be a little bit. They need to get consensus passed on the ledger that they're launching, which should happen this month. And that's the BUA project that we've been working on. So yeah, we'll definitely be multi-chain, and you know, there's a lot of different ways that you can go. There's a lot of different layer twos. We haven't been the most stoked on a lot of the layer twos that are out there and the functionality of them. So that's why we've been sticking with, you know, ETH and with BNB and Polygon, so to speak, but it's not quite like a layer two. So yes, we will be integrating with multiple chains and potentially be working on our own layer two scaling solution for in-game transactions, and or maybe you know, some semi-centralized data storage for different things within the game or the ecosystem as it branches out into more of like a mobile AR app type experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice. Yeah. Let's see. So, I mean, we've talked about Zoids and we haven't talked about the actual XR and how the experience has become, because now we've had the game beta and all that stuff. And I keep forgetting my questions. What was the idea behind the XR? Like, how did that come about? Makes any sense?
Yeah, I mean, you know, what we're mostly bullish on is augmented reality. I think XR is kind of a combination of, you know, VR and augmented and just regular like digital presence. So we were working on looking into different game engines and how they function: Unity, Unreal, seeing what Sandbox is doing, or Decentraland. And we just so happen to be working with a friend developing this, you know, this engine, which is a fully custom engine. We call it a cloud engine, and it gives us the ability to have an experience which can have, you know, up to 10,000 users in a space. And you can also work that on an iPad or an iPhone or a computer. You don't have to download anything. It's very lightweight. On the beta for Mecha, I believe that whole world, including the avatars, is about 8 megabytes. So it's extremely small file sizes, and the way that we do the meshes allow it to where you build a very extensive like place for people to come to without having to have like crazy computers or anything like that. And it's kind of the beginning stages or like what we're doing now before pixel streaming becomes a thing. You know, when pixel streaming advances in the future, it's going to be a lot easier because then you can have render farms that can render out very high res items and then send it back to you, and then you can see that on your phone. But that's why we have, you know, now like PS3s, or you have to have a gaming computer to get on these high res games because they're actually like rendering the stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. So can you tell us about like the Siku part of it, like how it's going to fit into?
Yeah, well, right now, right now we're just in the first phase. So we spent the start of the year up till now getting all of the story loosely dialed in, and the characters ready, the creatures, the realms, or the pods, and everything is so detailed and specific. But now we're just gonna get through this drop and then kind of not play catch up, but be able to take everything here and like spread it out. And then I believe like after phase 1, then we're going to work with Totem to start to plot out precisely like what the beta phase of gaming is going to look like.
Yeah, that's nice.
I got a question on Discord. It's for Xela. Shark wanted you to talk about. I don't know if I should say this on stream, but I'm gonna try. He wants you to talk about the dude who effed your girlfriend.
Oh,
I'm guessing that's an inside thing, but
yeah, it's kind of an inside thing. But it's my least favorite Zoid. And if you look at him, he always looks like kind of sketchy. Yeah, he always looks a little sketchy. I'll find him. Let's see. And I've always not liked that Zoid. It's been my least favorite. And I would always just be like, "Oh, that's the dude that effed your girlfriend." Like that dude. I don't like that. I don't like that dude. And I was at my friend's place with her kids, and they were super stoked on Zoids. And I was like, "Oh, like I'll send you a Zoid." And I was scrolling through the Zoids in my wallet, and the kid saw that one, and he was like, "Wait." He was like, "Oh, that one's you." And I was just like, all right,
no.
okay. It all makes sense now. It all makes sense.
Oh no.
That would be genetic. What is? I think it's Zuno. I think. Can't find him now. I'm not, or I guess the other ones maybe are different. Let's see. This guy is Zanu, XANU.
Do you have the number?
Just any of the Zanu genetics.
Okay, well.
All of them.
So can you tell us about, because Totem now currently has the XR, and then we have so can you tell us a little bit about Obtainable and how that works into the ecosystem?
Yeah, so Obtainable was started at the very beginning, and that was in essence creating a marketplace that would have physical, digital, virtual obtainability. And we were doing that for the gold coins logos that we make. And that just scaled really quickly into Totem. And so now Obtainable, in essence, will be a tab or an app within Totem that will be how you obtain physical items or you forge a physical item. So NFTs having different types of physical assets connecting to them, and obtainable was just like the first idea in our entrance into the Web3 space, which evolved into a whole ecosystem. So now everything is inside of Totem.
Yeah. So, well, a lot of us noticed a really long time ago that you guys had the artist Post Malone had a collection there. How did that come about, if I may ask?
Yeah, I mean that was a complete and total menagerie, but it was it was cool. We were in LA and someone hit us up and wanted us to Dre London hit us up and wanted us to work on a project for Post Malone. And so we built out some stuff for him per their specs, but then there was some stuff with his team, and it didn't really do what they said. They didn't do what they said they would do. So it was fun project to work on. But once you get into like a lot of the big like the bigger like celebrity type people like that, it's just like really hard to work with your team because they're not actually making decisions.
Yeah.
He was stoked on the art and stoked on the project, but his managers were wanting different things. So
Yeah. I understand.
Seems like Meatport wants you to mint our hamster. By the way.
Yes, please. Let's get him to the vault. Hi, Meatport. Okay, can we talk about Meatport for 1 second? Because honestly, one of the most inspirational people in Totem right now, and it's just want to give you a shout out and a lot more people, but I think he's been like one of the most inspiring people for me in Totem to like always be pushing.
He's on it.
Yeah, he's on it. I mean, he's not called Floor Sweep for no reason. So, I mean, obviously we're here because we're going to talk about the HoloX myth and what HoloX is. So, could you tell us a little bit about Holo and how that's going to function with the Zoids?
yeah. So when we first came up with the concepts for Holo, we wanted to have an interoperable avatar system that's a lot more open. Androgynous, kind of like blank slate, sort of, like surrogate type. And so that was the concept. Like Zoids have a very like specific storyline and thing that they're like doing, and that's like within the metadata and within the lore, within the stories. Whereas Hologenetix is more like a form of tech. It's like the beginning of like these like robots, or like how we see that robots would function. And the way when you see today when the XR goes live, we created a different type of like avatar system. So when you went in before, you just pick a Zoid and it wouldn't save. Now like it will save. You'll be able to like pick like a different like color coordination on your HoloX. And then that's going to move into being able to like have different heads or like different like arms or like different pieces, and you can kind of like customize this like robot or avatar. And so we could take like, say for instance, Balaj. We made a Balaj spine, and Balaj can be like, hey, anyone who has a Balaj spine, you can get a Balaj head robot, or you can get Balaj arms, or you can get these different types of skins, or we could do Siku ones, and Sikus could have different types of like Hologenetix like items. And what that does is that creates a template in essence, because as you start getting into interoperability, it's all about like the rigging of the avatars and how those avatars can function and move through different like portals, in instance, or different like game spaces. And if everything's like all different sizes, different specs, and not rigged to the same rig, then it makes it really difficult. So Holo is like a way that you could take, say, maybe if like a fluff wanted to like enter into XR, but like they didn't have all of their fluff integration, they could like put bunny ears on like a HoloX, or put like a fluff head on a HoloX, or like a sticker on a HoloX. And like that's a way that we can connect a lot of different projects into the space without having to do like all the extensive modeling that would be you'd have to do to like make all the different types.
Okay. So will the Holos have utility from day one, or will we have to wait a few days before that's?
No, it's live today. It's live. We have a little like casino beta going live. So you'll have points that you get every time you log in, and you can go and like just like play this game that we made with these like dice. Balaj drew the symbols for the dice, and then of course like the different types of like the parkour, and like we also, I think we're going to be doing an AMA inside of Totem this weekend. We have the AMA stuff live, so we'll be able to talk and hang out inside of there and have like just like
Oh,
do
wow.
interviews and stuff like this inside of the XR. And so the hollows will be able to access that. And that was also how we wanted to give people a lower point of entry, or like add more people into our community without having to buy a Zoid. They can buy a hollow, they can enter, they can see. And then of course, like you're always going to want to have a Zoid, you know, so it's like, that's going to be like the golden pass always, but this is a way for other people to integrate in something that we can use to scale. So the barrier to entry for people is a lot easier.
Yeah, that's nice. And we're actually doing remember to register if you're a subscriber to the free mint, because then, or to the whitelist for the free mint, then you'll be able to mint the Hollow X tonight at 11 Norwegian time, or 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
11.
All I ever know is Hawaii time zone. That's all. It doesn't matter where I am. It's HST.
It's always, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions, Thomas?
Yeah. So we talked a little bit about obtainable, but there are a lot of other things in Totem. You got Opal, Royal Vessel, tablets, and so on. Is there anything particular that we haven't mentioned yet that you think is extra interesting to talk about?
I mean, I think that going into Siku stuff is what I'm most stoked about right now.
Yeah.
We've been working on this project, you know, Courtney and Sarah have been working on this for probably like about a year now, and going from a bunch of different types of like ideas and how it's going to play together. And the art is phenomenal. It's
Absolutely.
absolutely next level. And
Yeah.
the people behind the project, the whole ecosystem that, you know, Fluence and Karachi bring together is very different than the ecosystem that's inside of Web3 currently. And I think that if you look at the top chart on OpenSea, it's like goblins and like poop NFTs right now. It's terrible. It's really bad, and it's not good for mass adoption of a space. And if you look at like any type of like new thing that came out though, you know, like snowboarding or like skateboarding or any type of these new, you know, punk music, whatever, it's always like very grungy in the beginning. And it's almost like, hey, you don't get us, like, and you don't understand why people are buying these like weird goblets for $20,000, but we are, and like, fuck you. And that's kind of the vibe in the space a lot, but it has to shift, and it will shift. And so I think that what we're doing is like, we're always aiming for the future. If we're building for what's trending in the moment, we're never going to be able to like make something that's going to last for longevity. It's going to be something that spikes up and comes back down. And so, you know, we're aiming into the future as to where this is going, and really like putting out projects at the right time when the market's ready. And I think that's like where we're really getting into our stride right now. CQ, super stoked. You know, we've heard a bunch about women-led projects, but it's like, this is like really like a cool space of women that are like holding this, and then also like integrating that in with the masculine. So yeah, I'd like to just talk about let Fluence talk about that, and then also talk about what we're doing in New York City. I hope to meet a bunch of people there. We'll be there for a week. We'll be set up at some events that we'll be releasing all the info to soon, and then we'll also be I'm sure doing some other like flash style like pop-up events and things in different places.
Are you guys going to New York?
No, unfortunately not.
Not unless someone wants to pay for it.
Totem
I have to get time off work, so.
Fluence, do you want to talk a little bit more about the Sikus, the lore, who they are, and where they fit in the Totem ecosystem?
Yeah, there are 7 main seeds, like the baseline seeds, and each of them have their own personalities and ticks and mannerisms and strengths and struggles. So based on who you get in the generator, you kind of have that weight going into it of whoever the character is. So there's Iona. She comes from the cave. She is a cult leader. And then there's Shadi, who comes from the jungle. She's a psychic vampire. So, I mean, off the bat, if you get one of those, that's a lot you're going to have to deal with and work through. But then you have like Bree, who comes from Plua, which is a realm where you can see beyond the color spectrum that we can see. So she's a healer, but then at the same time, she's so good at connecting with people and helping them through their feelings that she is kind of like tugged to manipulate that to get her own way. So, like in our grand vision, there are a lot of these nuances, and I'm hoping that they can translate over into gameplay. But there's just so much to every single character. Kadogo, her hair is designed like a scorpion, so if someone fucks with her, like the venom comes out and it can just sting like in an instant.
Awesome.
Yeah, I can keep
Sounds like
going.
me.
But yeah, it sounds like you. Is that what you said?
Yeah, no, I didn't say that.
Well, it does.
I think that's like one of the most inspiring things that with the characters that you're building, that you can actually like imagine yourself in them, which is something that a lot of projects don't already do, because it's just like copy paste of everything else that has already been done. So if you
Yeah.
can build a story behind everything, then it's much easier to imagine yourself and to actually imagine why you're supposed to be investing in it and why NFT projects are actually going to make a difference. Because if you just make a JPEG and you expect people to buy it, of course some people are going to buy it, but if you don't actually have something that's solid and that's going to keep it from flopping, then what are you doing? Then you're not doing your job.
Yeah, exactly. And it was really cool too to have these ideas and then to work with an artist like Christian or Crispy,
Yeah.
who is right there, like telepathically almost understanding what the vision is or what the essence is. And then when he can create that even better than what you're picturing in the first place, it helps your brain almost formulate. You can feel the character if you look at any of them, and you can get this understanding like just from visually taking them in, which I think is really impressive.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about integrating different parts like the Sikus into Totem now. Are you thinking about integrating with other projects like Asuki, Bored Ape, any other projects like that? And how do you see that interaction going about?
I think Xela might have more visions and in sort of that kind of element or aspect.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm very intrigued and interested in always seeking underground artists, because I feel like they're not getting the platform and recognition they deserve, and there's a lot of good shit out there. So
Absolutely.
for me, I would like to strive for partnerships where, like for example, with Anahata, her botanical company is based out of New Mexico right now, and the products are phenomenal. And this is just giving a space for kind of these more local brands to have a partnership in a place where they can reach a larger audience, where otherwise it's like, I don't know, shark infested waters out there. But yeah, Xela, I don't know what you're picturing too. I'd love to hear that.
Yeah, I think a lot of that is, within what Totem is doing. So there's a way for a lot of different communities to cross-pollinate and cross-collaborate through the axis and through the feed section, and then through the XR space, through different types of whitelist collabs, airdrops, collaborative art, etc. So as we roll out the marketplace and in the next bit of this year, you guys will see a lot of different projects that we're talking with and that we'll be working with and bringing them in and setting them up. And so once we have, these like trusted projects and communities within the space, then it'll be much easier for them to collaborate and work together on how the projects will function and, you know, potential ways that they cross paths.
Yeah.
Is it still raining in Norway?
Yeah, actually.
It is.
I mean, we're 4 hours apart and it's still raining.
Can you tell us a little bit about Profit, the charity thing you're doing with Totem?
Yeah. For profit, PROPHET. A lot of what we do, and you know, the vision behind what we're doing is for social impact. Like, you know, for myself personally, I'm good. I can live in. I have a place. I have a house. I have food that grows in my garden. My family's taken care of. I don't really need to necessarily work too much. But the reason why we do is we want to create impact and we want to create a global change. And so we dedicated 7% of our treasury to profit, and that will be connecting in with companies and projects that are for social impact and are creating serious change on the planet. One of the things that's baffled me the most is I see all these billionaires. I don't understand how no one has $1 billion garden. It honestly just like I think about that probably like at least a couple times a week. I'm just like, how does Elon Musk not have $1 billion garden? Like, yo, shout out Elon Musk, like build $1 billion garden, bro. Like that's a fucking flex. Like, let's go, you know? So just really wanting to create that change on our planet and create a space for people to tap into that. One of the cool things we're working on right now as well that kind of goes in line with that, I was talking to people at EcoDrive the other day, who's a tree planting service, and they're developing some tech with 10tree to where the trees that are planted in Madagascar are tracked on the blockchain. And we're talking with them about building some type of like virtual garden-esque where people can see the trees that they've planted, and then integrating in transactions in them. You can opt into all your transactions, plant a tree. So one tree in essence will offset an ETH transaction for a year. So we're setting that up to where you could opt in and then automatically just have a tree planted, and then that's tracked on the blockchain. So profit will be all of the social impact causes and things that are beyond us and for you know, a greater purpose.
Yeah.
Can you do a couple of questions? I got to answer a couple of these here.
No, actually, I just wanted to talk about like the community that we have in Totem, because I think that's one of the biggest reasons why I have stayed as far as I have, and why one of the reasons that I've constantly been pushing. I mean, I mentioned Meatport earlier, and I think there's just something different with that, with the Totem community. And how do you guys experience that?
100%. I mean, when we were getting everything, I mean, it was funny because when we first started, we were talking to like different VCs and stuff, and a lot. There was this one company, I won't say their name, but they were just like, oh, like what about the community? Like, where's the community? And we were like, yo, just don't worry, like the community's there. Like we just haven't started yet. Like it's coming. Like it'll be here like soon, you know. And when everything popped with Zoids, you know, shout out Joss for being there in the beginning, and shout out Quinn and for helping us and for really like putting a lot of energy into everything that happened and building the foundation for the community that we have now. But it grew so quickly, and in such a unique way. And I feel like a lot of the other Discord servers that I've been in, everyone's like very focused on money and like very focused on like almost like a lot of people talk like I don't even know if they're real or not. I'm like, I'll go into Discord servers and be like, is anyone real here? Is everyone a bot? Like, is everyone a bot? And like everyone's like, what do you mean? Like, huh? And I'm like, are you bots? Like, are they like I don't know. I'm just like, I'm not sure. And so it just created this really different style community, and the community has given us so much inspiration. It's so funny. Like sometimes I'm so in the workflow and like the whole team, and like, you know, me, Xander, Daniel are just like so tunnel vision in everything we're doing all day. You know, I work every day, fucking every fucking day. I'm working. It's like I eat, live, breathe, think, feel this vision, because it is a part of everything that I'm doing. Like it's not something that's outside. And of course I get burnt out at times because I'm like, fuck, like, you know, I just want to chill. But then when I'm chilling, I'm like just thinking about everything else that we need to do and like why we're doing it. And the community gives us a lot of support and like energy to do that. And so I'm just so thankful for the way that it's come together, and just, you know, how everything has been growing. And like that's why we're here for this community, and to build something beyond ourselves. So yeah, we love you guys so much, and thanks for
love you too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's been amazing. We're a global family. It's wild. Like we've got people everywhere now.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned before that we have like the sub chat with some of the Totem people where we call ourselves Sus Clan, where we actually met through this like really late, I think it was a voice chat after a tech talk or something, really a long time ago, and we just sort of formed this little community. And yeah, that's basically what Totem is. We just build communities, and I think everybody's on a first name basis in Totem at this point. I mean, everybody knows everybody, because that's just how it is. So yeah, really inspiring and really nice to have that kind of community around. Yeah.
I love your hair too, B. It's
Thank
amazing.
you.
Your hair is like, wow.
I love yours too. So I mean, building on community again, the same community has then moved on to Siku, and I see that everything is just one stream, and that's so beautiful, because the projects are, again, as I mentioned, they're bigger than most projects that I've seen, and it's just so inspiring and so beautiful to see how the communities come together and how the projects are coming together and building each other up, which is inspiring.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're trying to build a community on this YouTube channel as well, and I've definitely been inspired by how you guys are building a community and trying to do, well, basically try to copy you.
I think Steve Jobs says good artists copy and great artists steal. So
yeah.
if something works, that's what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kinetic, who couldn't be here today, had one question that he wanted to be asked, and that's when will there be Totem merch? And what will they be?
Yeah.
When?
We will have some stuff in New York City that we'll be giving out. We're working on some things right now, but as far as like a full line, just the way that we do everything, you know, for instance, like with our jewelry company, we could have like made jewelry and sold jewelry right away, but instead we, for the past year, been creating, you know, probably like 300 to 400 different pieces, so we can launch everything in all different stores and like everything at the same time, you know. So it's like we're not doing stuff to make the immediate money like right now, because we have the funding to where we don't need to do so. We've been blessed. And so same with the merch that we're putting out. Like we're going to put out a whole line of top of the line apparel. And so the shirt that I'm wearing, this is made by Blamo. Shout out, you know, Spencer Hansen and his crew. They're in Bali. They make some of the most amazing stuff ever, and we'll be bringing them into the ecosystem. They're going to be doing a drop with us. I was on a call the other day, a Twitter space, and they were asking what we were going to be wearing in New York, and I was just like, jumpsuits. Like I'm wearing jumpsuits and gold chains. And the jumpsuits are from Blamo. So I'm sure we'll have some Totem jumpsuits. We'll have pants. We'll have shirts. We'll have hats. We'll have everything, and that'll be going live this year for sure.
Well, we're gonna have to get to New York then if you're
Yeah.
giving away merch.
Well, not
I'll do
not
anything
close
for
yet,
merch.
but we'll send you guys some stuff. We'll have like posters, and we'll have some candles, and we'll have
Yay.
some stickers and all kinds of different things. We'll have gold. We'll
Oh.
probably give some gold out to some people that we see. Whatever.
Cool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give you my address so she doesn't.
I already sent you
take
mine,
over.
so don't just.
So yeah, I told you we're gonna stick to 1 hour, and that just we just passed 1 hour right now, and I know you are really busy today. So you got any final
I'm just
words?
grinding today. Just stoked, thankful for you guys, thankful for the community, thankful for how the Hologenetix stuff has come through, and really thankful for the CQ team and the new art, the new vision, the new people that they're bringing within the Totem ecosystem, and just excited for how everything's going to build. And I feel like we are at a very good trajectory right now. I think we just hit like 28,000 in the Discord today as we were on the call. So
Yeah.
Remember to join the Discord, people.
Discord's been blowing up.
yeah, Discord's popping.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And give the CQ page a follow on Twitter as well. Check out the Totem Twitter, and for the next 10 days up until, see what today's date is, the next 11 days until mint, you will not see anything except for CQ. So we will inundate you with all CQ madness
Go.
for the next bit. So share it up.
I can't wait. Do you have any final words, Fluent?
I'm just very grateful for everyone, and I'm excited to see the future. It's going to be a fun time.
It's going to be really fun.
Mm-hmm.
And and with that, I think we're just gonna end. I think we covered just about anything, unless you have any final questions. Opac?
I don't have any final questions. Just I posted the Twitter for Siku in the chat, and if you guys want to join the Discord for Totem, then we can have a chat there after the stream. I mean, it would be lovely to see you guys there.
Yeah. And for anyone who's not subscribed to Crypto Labs, please do. All right, it was really nice talking to you both.
right.
Good luck with the mint today, and good luck in New York.
All right, thank you so much.
And also with the upcoming mint for CQ.
Yep.
I can't wait for both of them.
Awesome. Thank you guys for the support. Bless up.
Thanks to everyone who watched, and I'm gonna run Kinetic's favorite outro. Bye.
Bye.